All right. All right, this calls to order the Monday, March 30th Planning Commission meeting. First item of business is approval of the meeting minutes from the meeting held on March 2nd, 2026. Is there any discussion or a motion?
I'd make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes dated Monday, March 2nd, 2026.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Next item of business is item 2, old business. There's none. Moving on, item 3, new business, site plan review for 6045 Mission Road, Fairway, Kansas, as submitted by Miranda Witten of Ecovol on behalf of Brian and Penelope Strack, property owner, request to install roof-mounted solar panels. Basil, will you please provide your staff report?
I'll let my report stand as submitted. Staff do recommend approval of the application. We did get an engineer evaluation and no modification is required. And they did not identify any tree removal.
Okay. Are there any other questions for staff? Any discussion? It's flush mounted, so as a structural, that's all I care about, so.
Yep. Looks good to me.
If no discussion, does someone want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve per staff recommendations the application.
Is there a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, next item of business is site plan review for 6043 Alhambra Street, Fairway, Kansas, as submitted by Joe Massa, property owner. Request for new single-family residence with exception request to window hierarchy on left elevation facade and the base material change at the internal corner. Basil, will you please provide your report?
Again, I'll let my report stand as submitted, and the staff is not opposed to the application. And this was, you guys granted an approval for a new house on that property in August of last year, and he redesigned.
Okay, that was my question. I asked you to send it to me, and you sent it to me, and I forgot to look. So it is a different design than what we
It's a
approved.
different design. Actually, the square footage is less, and the city's gaining more green space than the previous application.
And did we grant exceptions on the previous approval?
We did the same, the material change for the front, so he's seeking that exception too. And then the hierarchy is another exception that was granted before.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Can you pull up the elevations that we're talking about?
I think it's right there. Oh, it's left and right, correct? Oh, I'm sorry, never mind. No, you're fine. It is the left side of the front elevation. Oh, okay. The left and right side elevation facades to have the lower windows smaller than the upper windows. The base material changes on the front, so we just want to see the left and right. Yep. So Basil, I believe that, like on the right, it's because there's the two windows that don't match the size of that upper window, and they're not aligned.
Correct, so the upper window is larger than the lower window. On the left elevation,
Yeah, I was thinking this, how different is this plan from the original one? It's quite a bit different, isn't it? If I remember right.
yes, it is. The original one, there was the fireplace was in the front, and he eliminated that. The side entry stayed the same. I think the garage location changed. The applicant is here, he can answer.
Yeah, it was just really like, I think we did have a window hierarchy. I can't remember if it was the same elevations last time. It was the right and left elevation.
That is
Same as
correct.
last time.
And we approved those.
Yeah.
And we had the front facade material change as well, I remember
Yeah,
that
we had
discussion.
the same, the front material.
Are there questions for the applicant?
Just a question, there's some written percentages and handwriting on one of these charts. What do those mean?
Those opening percentages?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Could you please use your mic?
Is that on? There's some, in handwriting, some percentages written on one of these charts. I was curious what that meant.
That's the window and door percentage.
Okay.
So we have to have a minimum of 15%.
So they did the submittal without them, and then we requested that to be on the plans.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe we can ask the applicant. I think usually in these scenarios, we discuss the reasoning for the mismatching hierarchy and if there's opportunities to change that. Without, I don't know that we have the floor plan, so it's hard to say that those are bathrooms or whatever they are, but
Yeah.
I
The
think-
applicant, please come forward to state your name and address for the record.
For the record, I think the hard copies you guys received have the layout. I think,
We just have the site plan,
okay.
I think, right? Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
My heritage.
Name and address?
Yeah, Joe Moss, 5719 Birch, Roland Park, Kansas, 66205.
yeah, so the question is on the, like the left elevation, there's kind of some like transom windows. Is there opportunities within the plans to make those full-size windows, or is that not practical?
The, I call them port windows, they're 24, 30 by 30. And what was your question, I'm sorry?
Are there opportunities within the design to make those conventional windows, or is that impractical?
Some of those, I'm doing this from memory, some of those are over the tub,
Okay,
in the shower space, and the closet. So we hate to make it any longer.
got it. Okay, that was my only question.
I guess on the right elevation, is there an opportunity to align the upper window with the smaller port window below? There's a, it was on the right elevation. The,
Right here.
Okay.
we don't have the,
Here, can you maybe speak to the, is that okay? Can you move that back here? Okay.
This, I believe, is 2.0 by 3.6 or 3.4, and that's right at the toilet space of the upper bathroom, the wet area of that Jack and Jill bathroom.
Yeah, so what he's asking is this bottom port window, can that be aligned with this window?
I can tell you in a second. Do you guys have the elevation?
Don't have a
You
plan.
don't have the elevation? Okay, I'm trying to think where that is. Yeah, we could probably move that over. Where that is in a mudroom space, a pantry of the kitchen space. So we might be able to line it up
Okay,
or figure out something to do with both of them. But you want them lined up?
I think it would be appropriate, yeah. That'd be my biggest comment.
Okay.
So per our discussion, the center window on the right elevation and then the window kind of below it would be aligned if we proposed, or if we included that in the approval. Are there other questions for the applicant? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any further discussion?
Maybe just to talk about what a motion might sound like. I think what we kind of discussed was some type of a motion where that right elevation, the lower window, is aligned with the upper window. Question might be, since we can't see the floor plans, if there's like, how does it work? Like, I don't know that we want to come back to this, like if it's not allowed or not practical to do that, I guess. How do we,
can make that subject to staff approval.
okay.
Are we okay with it if it can't be shifted?
Yeah, that's part of my question is I think like we'd like for it to be aligned, but if it becomes, somehow staff would have to decide whether or not it's practical or impractical, and we'd have to leave them with that decision. Otherwise, it would have to come back here, which I don't know that we really want to do.
If we just make it a recommendation as part of our motion as opposed to a requirement.
Does that work?
That should be fine.
All right. Let's see. What's the address?
60,
All right, so I make a motion that we approve the plans for 6043 Alhambra and grant the exceptions for the window hierarchy on the left elevation facade and base material change on the internal corner. For the right elevation, we grant the exception for the window hierarchy, but recommend that the lower port window be aligned with the upper window.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, next item of business is item C, site plan review for 5613 Sewanee Road, Fairway, Kansas, as submitted by Kyle and Ashley Pryor, property owner. Request exceptions of front setback and window hierarchy on the front and rear elevations of an addition. Basil, will you please provide your report?
I'll let my report stand as submitted. Staff is not opposed to the exceptions, and they did get an approval from Board of Zoning just before this meeting for encroachment into setback, front and side.
So do we need to grant that exception still, or is it already approved?
The exception is for the addition. So they had encroachment, window well, and the front entry porch.
Okay,
But the exception is because our front line is 40 and the building line is 30, so that's an exception.
Okay. On the front elevation, is the concern about the windows because part of the windows are blocked?
That is correct.
Okay. Any questions for staff?
Yeah, just a clarification on the front setback. So the existing property is at 30 foot,
It's at 30 foot.
so they're just extending the,
The Board of Zoning granted the entry porch, which was only like the feature of it extended beyond the 30. So
Oh,
Board of
okay.
Zoning granted that approval. And then they're removing a window well next to the garage, but they're installing one on sheet S1. They're installing one that encroached about 2 feet into the 30 foot. So that was Board of Zoning approval that they got this afternoon.
So the front of the house is not changing?
The front, they're doing that addition. Again, on S1, the dark area, that's an addition.
But a portion of the
But
house
they're
is
not
already on.
going beyond the 30 foot. So that's why they need an exception.
But a portion of the house on Sewanee is already on that building line, correct?
That's right.
And is this one of those where all the houses on that street are the same?
That is correct, and we added, I think I gave you a picture
Yeah,
that shows that. It's
Okay.
It's not in front of any of the other houses.
yeah, okay.
Are there any other questions for staff? I guess I would like to ask the applicant a question. Is the applicant present? Will you please come forward and state your name and address for the record?
I'm Weston with ESC Architects.
I'm Ashley Pryor at 5613 Sewanee Road.
Kyle Pryor, 5613 Swanee Road.
Thank you. Could you just walk us through maybe the decision to add that addition and then hiding portion of the windows?
So we're trying to balance out the existing front elevation. So before that was about a story and a half flat wall back in line with the entry porch. And so we wanted to add some relief at the front. There are some other issues with adding a porch coming out in front and also deepening the entry landing inside of the home. And so what we wanted to do was create symmetry. And so we brought the existing right-hand side of the home out to roughly the 30-foot, just a little behind that setback. That was the original platted line. And then as far as the window well, they would like to try to get a little more light into that front room, as that'll be like a sitting room off of the front. And the grade is about 3 to 4 feet up on the wall, since it is a split entry. When you go in, you go down a half a flight. And so that necessitated, the grade's fairly high at the entry, so that necessitated, to be able to do that, adding a well on the right-hand side there.
So will there be exposed concrete for the well, or will that be flush with the grade?
The well will be, the minimum as required, 4 inches above grade at the perimeter, so you won't see a concrete well.
And on that point, we do have the regulation 50% of landscaping at the front.
Yeah, so are you aware of that, the landscaping? Okay. Any other questions for the applicant?
Just so I understand, so I think ideally you would not require a well there at all, but you're a victim of topography, is that the issue?
The
Okay,
existing windows were like 30 inches tall that were back in that room. They were high, and of course then we wouldn't have met hierarchy.
yeah, okay.
How deep is the window well?
3 feet. 3 feet outside, and it's only about 16 to 18 inches deep as far as grade to bottom of well.
Any other questions?
I think so.
Thank you. All right, any discussion?
I'll make a motion if you want. I make a motion that we approve the plans for 5613 Sewanee Road and grant the exception for the front setback and window hierarchy.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes.
Just for clarity, those are subject to staff recommendations, right? The motion?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Item D, public hearing for site plan review for 6118 Reinhardt Drive, Fairway, Kansas, for a special use permit for a sports court and exception request to the green space requirement, as submitted by Brett and Jamie Duth, property owners. Before I open the public hearing, is there any information that we should be aware of, Basil?
Now, as far as my staff, it's a two-tier, so we have the special use permit and then the exception for the green space. Again, our recommendation, we're not opposed to the special use permit, but we're opposed to we're not supportive of the green space exception. We did get 4 emails and letters in support of the application from neighbors.
Any questions for staff?
One question for staff. Is it possible to grant the special use permit without violating the green space requirement?
Yes, if you have, in this scenario or in general?
In this scenario?
I don't think so.
Okay, so if we do grant the special use permit, we are in violation of the green space requirement? Okay,
Yes,
just-
so
that's what I was figuring out.
That's why we did it both. And as far as the recommendation, they need to pay the permit fee and penalty, and then they need to pay for the special use permit fee too.
And I suppose it's possible to grant the special use permit, but require some type of modification to the sports court to be in compliance with green space. That is an option as well.
Well, the SUP, you're making a recommendation to the governing body. So you're not granting approval, you're just recommending approval.
But could you recommend approval if exceptions or if additional requirements were met? Because right now, we're going to, we could recommend approval with the exception granted, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, any other questions? All right. This officially opens the public hearing for 6118 Reinhardt Drive, Fairway, Kansas, for a special use permit for the sports court and exception request to the green space requirement as submitted by Brett and Jamie Duth, property owners. Is there anyone here to speak on this topic? Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Brett Duth, 6118 Reinhardt Drive.
Do you have anything to speak?
Yeah, so we have I have 3 kids, and we have a extremely sloped driveway. So the sport court was the only option for us to be able to provide that. My yard, actually, I never even thought green space was an issue. I don't know all the rules, but I have a pretty good lot, so I did not go with a huge court. It's smaller than a half court. I got approval from all the neighbors that it would impact, and they all gave us pre-approval beforehand. We put tiles down so it keeps the sound low, no additional lighting, so it's not bright for any neighbors. We try to be respectful for everybody, so we were just unaware of the rules.
I'm assuming you had a contractor put this in?
Had somebody do the concrete, and then we had somebody else put the tiles on.
Yeah, I can understand, because oftentimes those contractors will be the ones who pull the permits, so.
And this was the guy that did it on the site, got him from somebody else from Prairie Village, and he pours concrete for the city, not Fairway, but for Kansas City, and just does it on the side, so he didn't mention any of this to me either.
Your current neighbor is the same as when this was installed?
Mm-hmm. Actually, one of my neighbors is here who's directly impacted. The court is closest to his house, and he's always been in full agreement with it.
Okay.
And it's just, and I will say, it's just basketball. Like the kids, we don't do pickleball. We don't do anything loud that would bother anybody.
Thank you.
All right.
Is there anyone else here to speak?
As a neighbor,
Oh, can you please come forward and state your name and address for the record?
Thank you for somebody's question over there. Yeah, I'm about that far from it. The only thing I don't like about it is I didn't invent it. I think it's terrific. I'm Jim Houks, live right next door at 6126 Reinhardt for almost exactly 50 years, so I've had a lot of neighbors. I guess one of the ways I look at this, I managed several hundred engineers. A lot of them did field construction. Sometimes you can look at a drawing and see what the problem is. Oftentimes you got to go look at it. I can't believe this violates any green space. It's a huge backyard. And I think the thing is terrific. One thing that's really good about it, basketballs don't make much noise. On the other side of us, there's a concrete court. I believe I can hear it louder than I can hear Brett's court when I'm standing from here to there. It's really great design. It really is. And I'm all for it. It's the only place you could put it. If you'll go look at it, I think you really understand it if you drive by there. I'm all for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any comments online? No, okay. All right. Is there anyone else that would like to make a comment? All right, this closes the public hearing. Is there any discussion?
Maybe one, this may be rhetorical, but if the sport court, if the sport court is passed, how would you even remedy the green space requirement at this point?
Well, we can be very creative. I mean, there's in the past situations, we've asked them to we've worked with the applicant, but maybe they remove a sidewalk or they remove some pavers or they modify something to address it. It's a little difficult to see from this view what exactly would be available for that, but that's a possibility.
And I know like every application's got certain differences, but if I think back, like if this came to us before it was built, right? And I think it's something like they're supposed to be 66% and it's actually like 62%. I don't remember the exact numbers on this one, but I think normally we would look at that percentage in the lot, given its size and everything, and say that we were okay granting that green space exception. Yeah, 66 to 62. So in my mind, I think that's, if it came to us without having been built first, right, we would likely look at this and say that it's reasonable.
I just want to note for the record that even though it was already built, you still look at it as if it had not been, because we definitely don't want to incentivize that kind of thing, right?
Fair enough, yeah. So I guess my point stands. Acting like we're looking at this as a new plan, my opinion is we would approve it.
And just keeping in mind that the next applicant will be a similar conversation, so we need to be consistent on however we handle this. Although the numbers are different, so but it may be a different conversation. Other discussion? Concerns? Someone want to make a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the application per staff recommendations.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes.
Can we just clarify that's the recommendation to the governing body?
I'm sorry?
That you're making the recommendation for the special use permit to the governing body?
Yes,
Okay,
with the exception for the green space.
okay.
All right, moving on. Item E, public hearing for site plan review for 5766 Windsor Circle, Fairway, Kansas, for a special use permit for a sports court and exception request to the green space requirement submitted by Donald and Anna Friend, property owners. Basil, do you have a report before we open the public hearing?
Again, I'll let my report stand as submitted. We did receive 4 emails and letters in support. One of them was not even an impacted of the 200 feet zone, so it's a neighbor that heard about it. Again, staff is not opposed to the special use permit. And again, we're not supportive of the green space. If it's granted approval, a permit fee and the penalty plus the special use permit fee needs to be paid.
Thank you. Any questions for staff before we open the public hearing?
Were the rules in 2018 essentially?
The special use, I think we went back, it was established 2014.
The research I did, it was at least back to 2014. The process has been the same since then.
How did we come upon this?
Again, they had a Board of Zoning appeal application tonight, and when we looked at the view from Johnson County, we noticed the sport court.
Any other questions for staff? Okay. This opens a public hearing for 5766 Windsor Circle in regards to the special use permit for a sports court and exception request to the green space requirement submitted by Donald and Anna Friend, property owners. Is there anyone here that would like to speak on this topic? Please state your name and address for the record.
Anna Friend, 5766 Windsor Circle.
Donald Friend, 5766 Windsor Circle.
We put this sport court in 2018 when we got a building permit to remodel our house, thinking that we were doing everything correct. And the inspector came out and gave us a permit for our house to move in. We assumed that that would cover the sport court at the time, which we made a mistake of. We did have a professional put it in, McConnell and Associates, who do all the sport courts at all the country clubs and different schools around, so they are very professional, so it's well done. Again, we put another addition on in 2020 with the building permit, and your inspector came out at that time and gave us, and didn't say anything, so we haven't been hiding this. I just wanted to say that. It wasn't until Basil, who I know has been here new, and saw that we had not done this correctly, so we are asking permission to leave it there and to pay the fine for that. And then as far as the green space violation, we live on almost an acre lot. It's a very large lot. Everything that is there that is hard space was there when we bought the house, with the exception of the sport court. We did not put the driveway in, we did not put the swimming pool in. It was all there when we purchased it in 2017. Even when our engineer went back and did the calculation topography, they thought that we would be fine, because they calculated at 69.9% green space allocation, not understanding that it's different in Fairway and that you're penalized for having a larger yard, because once you're over 30,000 square feet, it has to be 100%, which is unfortunate, because we did not know that that by owning more, you could do less with your yard. Do you want to say anything else?
No, I think that's good. I do want to say that there's the neighbor letter that you received, that is a new neighbor. They live someplace else and they moved within 200 square
Yeah,
feet.
their address on the list was their old address, but
Right.
they do live in our circle.
Yeah,
So, and the other thing is, we also back up to the maintenance part of the country club. So we do not have anyone behind us. It's just the circle back to the country club. So.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak on this? Okay. This closes the public hearing. Is there any discussion?
I have one clarification. They are seeking an exception for a watershed analysis, so I forgot to mention that. Staff feel all the water actually goes toward the golf course, so I don't think there's an issue with it.
Is there a watershed analysis on record from when they did their remodels as well?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, discussion?
I would just say my thoughts on this are similar to the last one, almost 70%. It's a very big yard. And I think even one of the letters referenced, we've had no issues with drainage or anything like that. So, so I would say I'm in support of this.
This lot is a lot larger than the one we just looked at.
What's the delta on the green space? Is it really 69 to 78 with the 9.5%?
I believe so, because the requirement 78 is because you have to do 100% on,
Anything over 30 is 100%.
so it adds up higher.
The max hardscape is 9,000.
What's the rationale for that?
That was before my time here.
You can answer.
I wasn't quite as involved in planning commission at the time, but my aware is on the big estate lots, they're trying to keep it more green space to where if you did say, you know, a 60% on all of them, you could come in and fill up, you know, a very, very large structure on a large lot like this. So it is trying to keep them more estate with the green space.
And based on the comprehensive plan, the community said that they wanted to see green space and, you know, preserve the trees, and so that was one way we tried to accomplish that. But that doesn't mean we haven't granted exceptions either, so. Any other thoughts or comments? I should have said this earlier, but we do want to make sure that we give clear direction on why we're voting a certain direction, so when the governing body reviews this, they understand our direction. With that, would someone want to
Well,
make a
that's
motion?
That's the hard part, Wendy. I'll make a motion that we recommend approval for the special use permit for 5766 Windsor Circle and grant the exception to the green space requirement. Reason being that the impacted neighbors have all spoken in support, and the green space is still nearly 70%.
In the watershed.
Oh, and also granting exception for the requirement for a watershed analysis.
And subject to other staff conditions as well.
And subject to,
Subject to other staff conditions as well, like payment of the.
oh, and subject to other staff conditions.
Is there a second?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, last item of business is item F, annual election of chair, vice chair, and secretary. I don't remember how we do this. Do we take nominations again? Okay. Would anyone like to run for vice, or run for chair? Oh, I mean, I can. If you would like to do it, I'm happy to relinquish. If not, would anyone like to nominate someone for the chair? Maybe that's a better way to say it.
I would like to nominate Wendy Bailey for chair.
I will accept.
Second.
Do we do each of them individually? Okay. Are there any other nominations? Okay. There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to vice chair. Nominations. I nominate Ben Zwick. Can I nominate? Okay. Ben's done it in the past. He's been our vice chair for the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah, pretty reliable. Any other nominations? Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and then someone want to nominate our secretary? I nominate Abby.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Do we need to do anything else to formalize that? Okay. All right, moving on. Next item of business is item 4, set the next meeting date for April 27th, 2026. Do we have applications?
We have 9 applications,
All right.
3 new houses and exceptions, another solar.
It's because we had that 1 month off. Now we're paying for it. All right, last item of business is a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.